Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany, and if this is your first time stumbling across one of my videos, I usually focus on fashion, beauty, luxury, lifestyle, fragrances, and pretty much whatever else I feel like talking about. So if that seems like something that you may be interested in, go ahead and click on that subscribe button if you enjoy the content, of course. Also, if you're already a subscriber, go ahead and click on that notification bell so that you do not miss an upload from me. Okay, y'all, so today I am back with what I consider to be a fun video because in the era of everybody smelling like marshmallow fluff and vanilla, I feel like we are in dire need of some unique fragrances, okay? So I went through my collection and I wanted to pull out some things that I haven't worn in a while, and also some fragrances that I haven't talked about on the channel, if ever or a while. Because number one, I need to use the fragrances in my collection, but also I want to switch it up a bit, and I pulled out some unique fragrances in my collection that I feel like have been looked over. And again, we are in this fluffy, girly era. And don't get me wrong, I have some fragrances here for the girly girls. I have some for the super classy, sophisticated lady, the feminine woman, all the things, okay? Even somebody who wants to smell a little bit more mysterious and sexy. So if you are tired of hearing about the same old fragrances and those mundane type of notes, then this video is for you. Okay, so I want to start off with some fresher fragrances, and the first one that I have to talk about is one that has been in my collection for a while. It has remained extremely unique in my collection because sometimes you could add something that's like unique to your nose, and then so many different fragrance houses start making fragrances that smell like this. But no, this one still remains unique, and this is Creed Royal Princess Oud. You guys, this is such a feminine powerhouse of a fragrance, super sophisticated, okay? And this also is like a powdery, woody, almost watery type of floral fragrance. The unique thing about this fragrance is, number one, it just smells like nothing other, but it's also a fragrance that can kind of transform depending on the weather. When it's warm outside, I get more of a floral vibe, which makes it a little bit more feminine in my opinion. But then when it's more cool, I get a lot more of those woody facets, and that can lean a little bit more on the unisex side. But overall, I feel like this is a fully unisex fragrance that leans feminine. And y'all, the sandalwood in this is done so well. It's blended so beautifully. If you know anything about Creed fragrances, you know they do have a typical type of DNA. And this one has those clean, sophisticated type of elements that I associate with Creed. It's just so beautiful and super unique. Every time I wear this, I get a compliment, and you don't need much. This is what I consider to be a pretty beast mode fragrance, at least on my body chemistry. And before we move on, I do want to note, listen, all fragrances can be unique according to the person, because we have to remember that our body chemistry and our skin is the final ingredient when it comes to a fragrance or a layering combo, okay? So that is going to make all the difference. But smelling this from the bottle and even on my skin, it's just one of those beautiful fragrances that always garners a compliment, and it always raises the brow when someone does compliment me, because they're like, oh my gosh, what are you wearing? And those are my favorite types of compliments. This brings me to my next fragrance, another super feminine, sophisticated fragrance. This is Mystique Bouquet, and this is actually a dupe of the famous Velvety fragrance from Parfums de Marly. So this is what I would consider to be a musky, citrusy floral, but the way that this kind of like performs and leans, it does remind me a little bit of the Royal Princess Oud, in the sense of like this clean, musky, kind of woody type of vibe. This one has Akigala wood, which is an extremely unique type of woody note, and it makes this fragrance stand out from the crowd for sure. Now, if you have Velvety, then you already know all about it. For me, Velvety nor this is like my absolute favorite type of fragrance. I would prefer Royal Princess Oud, but I do have to admit, it is a super unique fragrance. It's a compliment getter, and I had to try my hand at it. So it was nice to be able to get this for a fraction of the price of the Parfums de Marly Velvety. And I highly recommend this one. To me, this is about 98% spot on to the original. I will say one of the major differences between Mystique Bouquet and Velvety is the fact that this one leans a little bit sweeter. just a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it's not a sweet fragrance, but I get more of a fruity essence in this with the peach. It's a little heavier on the peach and it's not as airy. This one wears a little heavier, so it's definitely gonna last you, but you have to think these are Middle Eastern fragrances, so you kind of have to know how that DNA tends to wear on the skin. But if you want to save over $200 and something or over $300 to be fair, then I would highly recommend this one. Okay, next up, let's move into a little bit more of a fruitier category. So we have Greenwich Village from Bond Number 9. You guys, this is one of my favorites. I find this to be extremely unique and it is just such a beautiful fragrance. I consider this to be unisex. It's a fruity, fresh, kind of musky type of scent, and I absolutely love this one. And this one is pretty popular, but that does not mean that it's still not a unique fragrance. This one has some lychee, peach, cassis, peony, I believe. There's a few notes in this one, but overall, I get like this fruity, citrusy, yet ambery, musky type of fragrance that's still so fresh. Like I said, it's super hard to describe this one because it is truly unique. Oh my gosh, I love this one. Now, I tend to wear this more in the summertime. However, I do feel like you can get away with this one all year round. It's so beautiful. And the oak moss in this, it kind of grounds it a little bit. It gives it a little bit of an earthiness to it. And it also reminds you of a hint of baccarat. Now, this does not smell like baccarat at all to me, but anytime there's like an oak moss and kind of like a sweetness to a fragrance, it can have that DNA, because if you remember, baccarat when it first came out was extremely unique, okay? Even though we're tired of hearing about it, I'm not, but a lot of people are tired of hearing about it. It is like overdone at this point. Everybody has a dupe. That original type of DNA was super unique. So this does have a hint of that in the background, but those fruity elements, it's super tart as well. And the florals, it's all blended so well, but it still remains clean and fresh while still being fruity and also sexy. This one is really good. I'm sure a lot of you guys already have it, but if you've been thinking about it, I think you need to go ahead and grab this one. This is so amazing. It is guaranteed to bring you a compliment. And I haven't smelled this on anyone when I'm wearing it out and about. But of course, because we're all online, I do see a lot of people talking about this one. It just smells so good, y'all. I love, love, love this one. And sometimes when I want to add a little bit more of a feminine touch to it, even though to me this is extremely unisex and fruity, so I feel like women definitely go for this, but I can totally see a man rocking this. But when I want to add a little bit more of a girly take, I will add Kayali's Eden Sparkling Lychee to this one as well. So it's so good. I promise you, you will love it. And if I have to say so myself, it is blind buy worthy. I blind bought it, okay? And it was love at first sniff for me. It was super unique, but also palatable and something that I was excited to reach for. So that's Greenwich Village from Bond Number 9. Okay, so the next fragrance I have here is Blanche Bête. You guys, this one took me a while to get into, but now I love it so much. And it's still a freshie, but it's also cozy and lactonic and milky. And milk fragrances can really be a challenge for me, okay? But I love the freshness of this one. And even when I first got this, I will admit, I didn't love it. Like, I was like, oh, this is unique. I've never smelled anything like it. But when I wore it, I was just like, how do I feel about this? When I tell you, everyone from young to older gave me a compliment that day, okay? And I'm talking about the girl who worked at the MAC counter. I'm talking about an older woman that had on a full mink coat, because I wore this in the cooler weather. Full mink coat. We were in, I think it was Gus Myers. And she stopped me in her tracks and then brought her friend over. That was another older lady, and they were complimenting me on this fragrance so much. So the girl from MAC, she was younger than I was, probably in her 20s, and she had to purchase it on the spot. She was like, girl, I am pulling this up now. So I say all that to say that this one I feel like can transcend through generations. But you do have to enjoy a milky, lactonic, kind of fresh vibe. In some aspects, it's fresh in the sense of like baby wipes, you know what I mean? Which I know sounds kind of crazy, but that's the type of freshness that I get, that powdery freshness, but it's also cozy with the lactonic notes. And this is something that I feel like could be worn to bed, but because it's so beast mode, it would get on my nerves. You know what I mean? So I love wearing this in the colder weather because it gives me that fresh vibe while also still making me feel cozy and just, you know, inviting as well. This smells like, you know, the perfect ideal mother, if there is such, that just embraces you and gives you the tightest hug, and you just know that everything is going to be okay. And I just love it so much. Okay. So yeah, this is Blanche Bette. This one was not really love at first sniff, but it was definitely unique at first sniff. And I have grown to love this one so much. And it's super popular. A lot of people really enjoy this fragrance. Next up, we have a fragrance that I feel like was super accessible, but also extremely unique. And this is Kayali's Yum Pistachio Gelato, you guys. Now, it took me a long time to come around to this one, okay? But when I smelled this when it first came out, I was like, what in the world is this? Okay, so we'll start off with the notes that they have on the back. We have pistachio gelato, hazelnut, sweet rum, whipped cream, marshmallow, and cotton candy. Now, when I hear those notes, I'm thinking gourmand, sweet, fluffy, you know, girly, airy, just edible. No. Not at all. This is such a soapy, clean fragrance. It's mind-boggling to me how fresh and clean this is, while I am able to still smell like cotton candy facets. I don't really smell a nuttiness in this, but the more you have this fragrance, it does get creamier over time. So I feel like that's where the whipped cream, the marshmallow comes in. But if you're going into this thinking that it's going to give you like this super nutty, cozy pistachio fragrance, that's not it. That's why I have to put this one in the cleaner category. It's not fruity by any means. It is a extremely unique fragrance. Go and get your nose on this at Sephora if you haven't already. I do feel like this is a love or hate because I have so many fragrances in my collection. I have found times when I do want to reach for this. And again, every time I wear this, surprisingly, it lasts forever and I get compliments, and people always say, oh, you just smell so clean and sweet. And I'm always perplexed by that because I'm like, I don't get sweet from this. I do get creamy freshness, you know, but not in the sense of a milky freshness like this one. This to me is, let's say, sophisticated lady, and then this is more on the clean girl, fun girl side. So mom, daughter, you know what I mean? Mom, like 20-year-old daughter. So I do feel like they are interchangeable depending on your age, in my opinion, but of course wear what you want. But yeah, this one is good. It has grown on me. I love layering this one, and that's when I get the most wear out of it because I like to layer it with more cotton candy scents or heavier pistachio type of fragrances that still allow me to have the freshness. Let's say if it's warmer or if the sun is shining really bright, you know, on a colder day, I still get that freshness that I want for daytime while also grounding it with more nuttiness or sweetness or something like that. So yeah, this is Yum Pistachio Gelato from Kayali. I'm sure you guys have smelled it. So many people love it, but for me, it was something very unique and I had to come around to it. But you can't beat the price on these, especially when you get them on sale. Okay, so next I want to move into some of my rose fragrances, and rose is one of my absolute favorite notes in a fragrance. It's so feminine, and I know rose can get a bad rep. I have a full video on like some of my favorite rose fragrances, but rose can be incorporated into fragrances and really just add that feminine, kind of like bright floral touch. I just love a rose. Don't get me wrong, all of these rose fragrances that I'm going to mention are not your run-of-the-mill. So the first one I'm going to mention is Hibiscus Mahajad. Now you guys, if you've been following me, you know I have been hooting and hollering about wanting Hibiscus Mahajad, and I went back and forth a couple of times because I did go through a sample. When I first smelled the sample, I was in love. And then I was like, this is kind of weird. I'm getting some cinnamon vibes, some mintiness. It got kind of weird. But then the more I would wear it and like choose to wear it at different times of the day and like depending on the temperature, I fell more and more in love with it. And this is still a perplexing fragrance that is still like so unique, so like fun. Think of Baccarat, not the scent, but the way that it makes you feel if you like that one. Or like a Delina, like, I mean, I feel like a powerhouse when I wear this. And this is a powerhouse of a fragrance, okay? So in Hibiscus Mahajad, we have hibiscus, of course. We have a damask rose. We have some leather, some cassis, some peppermint, cinnamon. Oh my goodness, some vanilla. And I do smell all of the things. Like the vanilla is so needed mixed with that cinnamon. It gives it a little hint of spiciness. The rose uplifts it. The cassis as well gives it a little bit more of that floral touch. But then that peppermint gives it that unique flair with the leather that makes it unisex. I mean, this fragrance is so cool, you guys. It is so cool, so good, beast mode. And the hibiscus is such a unique note to add to a fragrance. It makes it so, it's not tropical, but it's just so like juicy without being edible at all. Such an addictive scent. Like, this is my current obsession right now. I love this fragrance so much. And talk about an ego boost. This is the one. When I wear this, you can't tell me nothing. Do you hear me? So yeah, this is Hibiscus Mahajad. Definitely not blind buy appropriate in my opinion, but I just think you need something like this in your collection. You know what I'm saying? One of those head turners, and this is definitely one. Next up, I have to talk about my rose ouds that I love, and I will start off with MFK's Oud Satin Mood. Now, this is going to be a rose powdery oud, and it's so good, okay? So this one actually has Bulgarian rose. It has some violet, some strawberry, so you get that fruity facet. Then we also have a Turkish rose in here as well, which is another one of my favorite type of roses. Of course, in the base, you have that oud, some amber, vanilla, caramel, and benzoin. And y'all, this is just a feminine, powdery, like soft, beautiful, satiny type of fragrance, okay? And I feel like you can wear this all year round for sure. But when I wear this, I feel sexy, I feel powerful, but approachable. And then I also feel very, just like feminine and soft when I wear this one, okay? So the oud in this one is blended so well, in my opinion. I don't feel like you have to love an oud to love this fragrance. But keep in mind, it's more on the fresher, powdery side. So I like this a lot. And I told you guys before I would never purchase this again. And that still holds true because you don't need much. This is beast mode, in my opinion. When I wear this, it lasts for days. I have to scrub it off, okay? So that's why I would not be repurchasing this. I've had this for years and I've worn it several times and I barely can see the dent. Okay, so love this one so much. Feminine, powerhouse, but still soft and satiny as well. Now with Oud Bouquet from Lancome, this is going to be more of a sweeter rose oud. Oh, I love this one. So if you're more of a gourmand girl, I do feel like you would like this more. And especially if you don't like powdery fragrances, you're going to want to stay away from Oud Satin Mood. This one starts off with a praline note. And it smells so caramely, praline-y, edible. It's so beautiful. Then we have our oud. We have some rose, vanilla, and then another oud, which is guaiac wood. So this one has the guaiac and then the argar, which are both, you know, different types of ouds. But y'all, this one is an edible rose oud scent, super unique. Love this one. I always recommend this for someone who wants something unique, something edible, something deep, but not, the rose uplifts it still. And I do want to mention that you can get Shagaf Oud. It's sharper than this. I had it. I ended up giving it away because at one point I thought I wanted that, more than this one, but this one is just way more refined and it's just done so well. So that's why I love this fragrance over that. But of course, if you don't want to spend the money on Lancome's Oud Bouquet, you can get Shagaf Oud. It's going to lean a lot more sharp. It's a little more oudy, but on the more, I would say, more unisex side, and this is more feminine. This is so edible. I don't feel like Shagaf Oud is as edible at all, but they have very similar, if not the same notes, okay? So yeah, this is Lancome's Oud Bouquet. Love this. She's beast mode. When I wear this, I feel uber sexy, okay? Uber sexy, quite edible. This is definitely a winter fragrance for me. So I'm excited to pull this back out now that the temperatures have dropped. Okay, so next up we have French Defense, and this is from Mind Games. This is the only Mind Games fragrance that I own. Oh my gosh, y'all. The fact that I want to mention this right now is like, this is a cherry fragrance, okay? But I specifically smell rose in this, and it does have a rose note, but I pull that out, okay? So we have some cherry, some violet leaves, we have some chamomile in this, which is super unique in my opinion, mimosa, geranium, amber, blonde woods, and cedar wood. I get those woody facets. This is definitely a unisex cherry scent, and at one point I was head over heels for cherry because it was just introduced to me as a note that I would wear in fragrances years ago. And then I became over cherry very quickly. I'm like, they all are smelling like Tom Ford Lost Cherry or something like that, you know, that kind of element. But this is a cherry that's not overly cherry to me. Okay, like I definitely get way more notes in this. It's not that sweet, syrupy type of cherry by any means. This one is just beautifully blended, and she is quite expensive, but I feel like this is such a beautiful scent. And as you can see, I mean, the bottle is absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a chess piece, right? So cute. So this is for sure very unisex. It's just a gorgeous fragrance. And I also love that this has like this velvety smooth type of texture, similar to like how Oud Satin Mood has that satiny texture. This one has that velvety texture. So it's a little deeper, less powdery. And I think that it is worth the hype. The projection on this is unmatched, okay? So this is French Defense. If you want something that smells similar, but a little bit more on the, I forget, y'all tell me every time, but it's chipper. The way that it looks is not at all how it's pronounced. But anyway, those type of fragrances, I would go for Carmina from Creed, another beautiful cherry rose type of fragrance, but they smell very different. That one is a little bit more feminine leaning, a little bit more tart. And I do feel like if you had like a hibiscus mahajad or an Oud Satin Mood or something like that, it's not a necessity. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to get something that will perfectly fit into your collection without sharing so many other similarities, you know? So yeah, this one is beautiful. That velvety kind of aura to it. It's just gorgeous. Okay, y'all. So my next category is going to be like my sandalwood, mysterious, still cozy type of fragrances. And I have 4 here that I want to talk about. So let's get into them. First up, I want to talk about BDK's Gris Charnel. You guys, this is such a unique scent. Still to this day, I've not smelled anything like this. Wow. Like this is like a cashmere cozy sweater, but cool girl. I mean, she's probably wearing All Saints. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is good. Okay, so in Gris Charnel, we have some fig, some cardamom, we have black tea in this. I love a tea note, I'm learning. The older I get, the more I can appreciate a tea fragrance. And then we have some iris, some bourbon vetiver, and in the base, we have that sandalwood and also some tonka bean, y'all. And the tonka bean is very reminiscent of another fragrance in this same category that I'm gonna mention next. But let me just tell you something, this smells fabulous. It smells so niche, it smells expensive, it smells sophisticated, but it has a hint of edge to it, and I love it. I feel like this bottle looks way more masculine, but when you smell it and you look at the notes, the bottle would make so much sense because this is the edge that it gives that cozy, sophisticated, feminine fragrance. I do feel like this is unisex as well. but it's something about this that just leans a little bit more on that soft hug type of vibe. But you don't play with that girl. You know what I mean? You don't play with, let me rephrase, you don't play with that woman, okay? So I love this one. And it's so funny to me because this is a fragrance. I don't always reach for this because I don't feel like it's my vibe. But when I'm feeling like it, you're gonna be asking who she feeling like, right? Because this one has some cardamom and some fig in here. And those are notes that I don't typically gravitate towards. But I do live for a unique take on a fragrance and something just out of the norm. And that black tea is so comforting in this as well. So this is like a beautiful fall and winter fragrance. I would not wear this in the spring or summertime. I feel like this needs cold weather for sure. And the biggest strength of this is the way that this is blended so masterfully. I can't pick a single note out of this fragrance when I smell it. When I'm wearing it, I can't pick a single note. To me, it's not about the notes. It is about the vibe. I get cozy vibes, which black tea can provide, you know. I get a jamminess, which could be that fig. I get a sophistication, which is probably that cardamom. So you see where I'm going with this. It's more of the vibe I smell than I'm able to pick out specific notes in this one. If I never read those notes, I would not be able to tell you probably one note other than like a sandalwood or a tonka bean that's in this fragrance. So highly recommend Gris Charnel. This is an oldie and definitely a goodie. Let me know if you guys have this one in your collection. I always love to hear people's thoughts on Gris Charnel. And again, this is definitely unisex, so my guys and my girls can enjoy this. Okay, next up we have Jo Malone's Myrrh and Tonka. And I know Jo Malone gets a bad rep because people say they don't last past the snap of a finger, and I can agree. They do have a specific, you know, type of vibe. Very light, very airy, very close to the skin. This one is a little bit different. She's a little bit different. So this one has top notes of lavender. And then in the mid, we have that myrrh. And in the base, you have tonka bean, vanilla, and almond. This does not have sandalwood, but I guess it's that myrrh and the tonka bean that kind of gives me that sandalwood vibe. Almost creamy, but this one is a little drier, you know, and I really love this fragrance for the winter, you guys. Every time I smell this, I am just transported. Where? Maybe Colorado. It's giving I go skiing. Yeah, it's giving Aspen. That's what this gives me. Like, coming out from the super cold weather, cozying up around the fireplace in my ski outfit. It's just fabulous, okay? Or maybe dinner after I've been skiing all day, okay? She's not hitting the slope though. Your girl is scared of heights. The almond note in this also stands out, but overall, this is just a mysterious fragrance. And that's why I say that this reminds me a little bit of Gris Charnel in the way that it's mysterious. You know what I mean? It has that little bit of edge, but still so powdery and feminine in my opinion. It's very classy and complex. And it also has a little bit of like, well, I do want to say mysterious, but I was going to say like a melancholy type of vibe. I don't know. Something about it, it just gives introvert, you know? Yeah, like a rich introvert or something like that. This one is good, y'all. Get your nose on this one. Jo Malone's Myrrh and Tonka. Of course, it's in the darker bottle, so you're going to get a lot more longevity, but you can't overspray this because, again, Jo Malone is one of those houses that is not known to project, but this is the longest lasting Jo Malone I have ever tried. Maybe outside of Velvet Oud or whatever, Velvet Rose Oud. But I have better rose oud fragrances than that. Okay, this one is fabulous. Okay, so keeping in line with like that sandalwood, but like mysterious vibe, we have Queens and Monsters, you guys. Now, this is from Henry Rose. And this is a fragrance that reminds me of the Myrrh and Tonkas and the Gris Charnels, but this one has a petitgrain note. And I don't think I have any other fragrances in my collection that has a petitgrain note. So that gives this a little bit more of a green touch to it, which some people may not like, but it just makes this a little bit more fresh, a little bit more earthy. and I can appreciate it. It also has a strong violet note in this as well that I really enjoy. And violet could be one of the ones that I kind of struggle with sometimes. We also have some jasmine and some freesia. Jasmine is another one of my favorite florals. And we have that sandalwood, the vanilla bean, and ambroxan and patchouli. The patchouli to me does not stand out too much. I feel like the petitgrain stands out more than the patchouli. And I really enjoy this. It does have that vanilla in there, so it does make it a little bit more crowd pleasing on the back end. But again, you have to like that petitgrain note, and I really enjoyed this one. The reason why I got this was I first saw Kelly Rowland wearing this fragrance, and she was, I forgot what it was on. It was probably like a Vogue thing or Elle magazine type of situation. And then when I was finally able to go to an event, I was able to smell all of the Henry Rose fragrances. And this one was the one that stood out the most. And come to find out, it was the one that Kelly had that I remembered, you know, from a while ago. So I enjoyed this one. I do find that I reach for this one a little bit more in the daytime, whereas let's say Myrrh and Tonka is a nighttime scent for me in the winter. So this one is a little bit more all year round if you want it to be. And if you like a sandalwood note, you will really enjoy this. Now, just for an honorable mention, I wanted to mention Velvet Santal from Kayali. This one has a tea note as well. And it also has that sandalwood. Now, this was from the wedding collection. So this was the masculine version, but I find this to be extremely unisex, and on my skin I pull so much of the sweetness out. It has that Kayali DNA, that vanilla DNA that all of her fragrances I feel like have. And even though they consider this to be the masculine version, because it has that, I'm obsessed, like that brown sugar type of vanilla. This one is so pretty, you guys, and this one lasts more than all of the Kayalis, I will say. Maybe, what's another one that lasts? Oh no, I'm wrong. This one I would say is second to Rock Candy Sugar, okay? So this one has jasmine petals, tea leaves, white musk, cedarwood, benzoin, and sandalwood. Very simple, but if you want a unisex fragrance that's still going to give you like that feminine, sweet type of touch, this one is good. I hope they still sell this one. It wasn't as popular because everybody liked the Wedding Silk Santal, and to me, it's nice, but it didn't give what the girls were saying it was going to give simply because it was so overhyped and we couldn't get our hands on it. When I finally got my hands on it, I said, oh, peaches and vanilla. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't give all of that, or nectarines and vanilla, whatever. So yeah, this one I do like, and just wanted to do an honorable mention because a lot of these sandalwood, deep, mysterious type of fragrances are niche, and this one is more on the affordable side. Okay, so now I want to talk about, oof, child, I'm stopped in my tracks every time. So this one I feel like is in a category of its own. We're talking about mysterious and deep, but we have to talk about sexy when it comes to Chris Collins' Lust Oud Delice. It's delicious, it's edible, it's yummy, it's chocolate. I feel like it's dark chocolate in this. Y'all, is it the way you love me, baby? Oh! Yes, wore this in Chicago. I've worn it several times, but when I wore it for the first time, I was in Chicago. And if you know anything about Chicago, the wind is whipping, okay? It's freezing cold. And this was in March. So I got so many compliments. The waiter was telling me I smelled so good. People, as we were walking past the bar in the restaurant, were telling me I smelled so good. And it is such a unique chocolate fragrance. I don't like chocolate in my fragrances. You'll notice I don't have fragrances that have chocolate specifically, unless maybe it's a hint of a white chocolate. But chocolate and me, we don't really mesh too well. This one though, sexy can I? Okay, just pardon my manners. Yes. Oh my gosh. So yes, we have our dark chocolate, we have some hazelnut, we have walnut, we also have cypriol oil, some orris, some benzoin, some agar wood, which is oud, musk, and sandalwood in the base. That sandalwood combo, and especially with this with the orris, is so creamy, but dark chocolate, like punchy as well. Oh, fabulous. Nutty without leaning like, I don't know, nutty fragrances can lean a little too chestnuts roasting. I don't like that. I like this nuttiness in this one. So the hazelnut is really beautiful, almost coffee-ish, if you will, but it doesn't smell like coffee to me, but similar, you know what I mean? And you know what I love about this one actually is that it's creamy and chocolatey, but it has a powderiness to it, while still being creamy. Like, so good. Okay, so yeah, if you're looking for something edible but it's not your typical run-of-the-mill vanilla gourmand type of fragrance, this one is one you want to get your nose on. Okay, you're not going to smell like anyone, I promise you. You're not going to smell like anyone else. Super unique. Love the way that he did this fragrance, you guys. Love it. This is a Black-owned brand that can be purchased at Sephora, so you know we love that. Okay, y'all. So next up we have Thameen's Blue Heart. Now, this one, I've never smelled nothing like this. This is a coconut fragrance, but don't think creamy edible coconut. It's a dry coconut. It's so interesting to me. This is so good. It has saffron in here as well that I really love. I love a saffron note. It also has some orris, some vanilla, some tonka bean. It has some white musk, which I can appreciate. It also has the cypriol oil and some amber. And it's so dry, coconutty, and just so beautiful. This is a sophisticated coconut fragrance for the ultimate woman. I do feel like anyone can wear it if you want to, but when I smell this, I just think of a sophisticated woman who still enjoys some sweetness and, you know, but does not want to smell like cake or something like that. It's just such a unique take, and it's kind of clean as well. Yeah, this one's great. And I'm going to tell you, this is not Blind Buy safe. I picked this up at Twisted Lily, and I do have a code. So I love Twisted Lily because you guys can sample. Okay, so if you want to use my code and like try out some of these fragrances that I've been mentioning at Twisted Lily, you can get samples of all of these. So you're not blind buying a full like $200, $300 bottle of fragrance. But this one, the reason why this one is so cool is like it is a coconut vanilla saffron type of fragrance, but there's something a little tricky in this that you can't quite put your finger on. I think it's the dryness of the coconut, because coconut is usually done in a sunscreeny way or like a edible way, and this one is just like this dry coconut. It's so hard to describe, which is why it's in the unique category, but it's something tricky and a little what is that, you know, that makes this fragrance so good, in my opinion. It's also beast mode, okay? When you wear this, you will be noticed. So we love a head turner, and this is Thameen's Blue Heart. Again, not Blind Buy safe, but get you a sample of this and let me know what you think. All right, y'all, so that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit long. I covered a lot of fragrances today, but I thought it was so important for me to bring some unique fragrances in my collection, something that's not just the run-of-the-mill that I always talk about. So I was excited to film this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will have everything linked down below, and all of the fragrances that you can possibly get from Twisted Lily, I will put my code down there as well if you want to sample them before you take the plunge. I highly recommend that because, like I said at the beginning, your skin and your body chemistry is the last ingredient of a fragrance, and it can transform a fragrance in so many different ways, right or left. Okay, so thank you again so much for watching, and I will talk to you on my next one. Bye, y'all. She comfortable.